Marcus Chen wiped down the last table in Section 3 and glanced at the clock on the wall. It was almost 7 in the evening. His feet hurt. They always hurt after standing for so many hours, but he could not think about that now. The dinner rush was about to begin at the Sterling Rose, one of the fanciest restaurants in the city. He straightened his black vest and checked his reflection in the polished silver water pitcher. His hair was neat. His white shirt was clean. He looked professional. That was important. He needed this job. His daughter Lily needed him to keep this job. The restaurant manager, Mr. Peterson, walked past carrying menus. He nodded at Marcus. Marcus nodded back. They did not talk much, but that was fine. Marcus was not there to make friends. He was there to work, earn money, and go home to his daughter. The front doors opened. A group of men in expensive suits walked in. Marcus recognized the type immediately. Rich businessmen. They came to the Sterling Rose often. They ordered the most expensive wine. They barely looked at the servers. They tipped well if you stayed quiet and did your job. Mr. Peterson greeted them with a big smile. He shook hands with the man in front. This man was different from the others. He was tall with perfectly styled gray hair. His suit probably cost more than Marcus earned in 3 months. He wore a watch that sparkled under the restaurant lights. Diamond cufflinks caught the light when he moved his hands. This was Richard Vandermeer. Marcus had heard other servers talk about him. He owned a big technology company. He was very rich. He was also very rude. Mr. Peterson led the group to the best table in the restaurant. It was near the window with a view of the city lights. It was also near the grand piano that sat in the corner of the dining room. The piano was beautiful, black and shiny. Nobody played it anymore. It was just decoration now. Marcus watched as Mr. Peterson fussed over the men. He pulled out chairs. He handed out menus. He promised them the best service. Then he caught Marcus's eye and pointed at the table. Marcus understood. This was his section tonight. Marcus walked over with his notepad and a smile. The smile was not real, but customers could not tell. He had practiced it many times in the mirror. "Good evening, gentlemen," Marcus said. "Can I start you with some drinks?" Richard Vandermeer did not look up from his menu. The other men ordered whiskey and wine. Marcus wrote it all down. Richard finally spoke without looking at Marcus. "Bring me your most expensive scotch, the 30-year-old, and make sure the glass is clean. Last time I was here, there was a spot on my glass." Marcus nodded. "Yes, sir. I will make sure of it." He turned to walk away, but Richard spoke again. "Wait." Marcus stopped and turned back. Richard was looking at him now. His eyes were cold. They reminded Marcus of ice. "What is that on your arm?" Richard pointed at Marcus's forearm. Marcus looked down. His sleeve had rolled up a bit. Part of his tattoo was showing. It was a design of a treble clef mixed with military dog tags. Below it were dates and names. His friends' names. The friends who did not come home. "It is just a tattoo, sir," Marcus said quietly. "I can see that," Richard said with a smirk. "Let me guess. You are former military?" "Yes, sir. Army medic." Richard leaned back in his chair. He looked at the other men at the table and smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Gentlemen, we have a veteran serving us tonight." "How wonderful." His voice was dripping with sarcasm. The other men looked uncomfortable. One of them, a younger man with nervous eyes, looked away. Marcus felt his chest tighten. He knew where this was going. He had dealt with people like Richard before. People who thought serving in the military made you less than them. People who thought veterans were broken or useless. "Will there be anything else, sir?" Marcus asked. He kept his voice calm and professional. "Actually, yes," Richard said. He was enjoying this now. Marcus could see it in his eyes. "I always wonder what you military types do after you come back. I mean, clearly you can serve drinks, but what real skills do you have?" The table went quiet. The other men looked at their menus. Nobody said anything. Nobody stopped Richard. Marcus felt his jaw tighten. His hands wanted to curl into fists, but he kept them relaxed at his sides. He had trained himself to stay calm. Anger would not help. Anger would get him fired, and he needed this job for Lily. "I have many skills, sir," Marcus said evenly. "Now let me get those drinks for you." He started to turn away again, but Richard stood up. He was taller than Marcus. He used his height to look down at him. "Wait, Richard said loudly. Other tables were starting to look now. "I am genuinely curious. What did they teach you in the army besides how to follow orders? Marcus felt heat rising in his face. He could feel every eye in the restaurant on him now. Mr. Peterson was watching from across the room. His face said everything. Do not make a scene. Keep the customer happy, no matter what. Sir, I really should get your drinks, Marcus said. Answer the question, Richard insisted. What can you actually do? Marcus took a slow breath. I was a medic, sir. I saved lives. I treated wounded soldiers in combat zones. I learned emergency medicine and trauma care. Richard waved his hand dismissively. Sure. But that is all in the past now, is it not? I mean, you are here serving drinks. So clearly that did not work out. One of the other men at the table finally spoke up. Richard, maybe we should just order. Richard ignored him. He was on a roll now, enjoying his power. Enjoying making Marcus uncomfortable in front of everyone. Then Richard noticed the piano. His eyes lit up with a cruel idea. You know what? Richard said, pointing at the piano. I have always believed that people should prove their worth. So here is an opportunity for you. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. It was thick with cash. He pulled out 5 $100 bills and laid them on the table. $500, Richard announced loudly. I will give you $500 if you can play that piano. Anything, just sit down and play. Show us that veterans can do more than serve drinks. The restaurant was completely silent now. Everyone was watching. Marcus felt like his heart stopped. He stared at the piano, that beautiful black shining piano. Mr. Peterson rushed over. Mr. Vandermeer, that is very generous, but our staff are not entertainers. Nonsense, Richard cut him off. I am offering good money. If he can play, he gets it. If he cannot, well, then we all know the truth about what veterans are really capable of after service, do we not? The other men at Richard's table looked embarrassed now. But still, none of them told him to stop. Marcus looked at the money on the table. $500. That was groceries for 2 months. That was Lily's school supplies. That was the dentist appointment she needed. But it was also a trap. Richard expected him to fail. Richard wanted him to sit at that piano and make a fool of himself. He wanted to prove that Marcus was worthless. That all veterans were worthless. Marcus felt rage burning inside him. But under the rage was something else. Something he had not felt in years. The pull of the piano. The call of music. Sir, you do not have to do this, Mr. Peterson whispered to Marcus. But Marcus was already walking toward the piano. He heard gasps from some tables. He heard Richard laugh behind him. This should be good, Richard said to his companions. Probably learned chopsticks in some base rec room. Marcus reached the piano. He stood in front of it for a moment. His hands were shaking. They always shook. The injury from the explosion in Afghanistan had damaged the nerves. The doctor said he was lucky to keep his hands at all. He sat down on the bench. The leather was soft and worn. It felt familiar. It felt like home. He looked at his hands. They were rough now, calloused from hard work, so different from the smooth, trained hands he had when he was 18, when he had his whole future ahead of him, when he had a scholarship to the conservatory, when music was everything. Behind him, Richard was talking loudly to his friends. My phone is recording. This is going to be hilarious. Watch him struggle. Marcus heard other phones come out too. People were recording, getting ready to watch him fail, getting ready to laugh. He placed his fingers on the keys. They were cool and smooth under his touch. He took a breath and then something happened. Something shifted inside him. The noise of the restaurant faded away. Richard's voice disappeared. The phones and the stares and the pressure all melted into nothing. It was just Marcus and the piano. Like it used to be. Like it was always meant to be. He closed his eyes, and he began to play. The first notes were soft, gentle. They floated through the air like whispers. Some people at nearby tables leaned forward to hear better. Then the music grew. It swelled and rose. Marcus's hands moved across the keys with a grace that seemed impossible for damaged hands. But they remembered. After all these years, they remembered every lesson, every practice session, every performance. He played a piece he had written himself years ago, back when he was deployed, back when the only thing that kept him sane was composing music in his head during the endless, terrifying nights. He had never performed it before. He had never had the chance. Until now. The music told a story. It started with hope and youth. Light, dancing notes that spoke of dreams and possibilities. Then it shifted. Darker chords came in. The sound of fear, of loss, of watching friends die, of holding pressure on wounds while calling for evacuation. Of the moment the explosion threw him across the compound. People in the restaurant stopped eating. Forks paused halfway to mouths. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every person turned to watch the server in the black vest play the most beautiful music they had ever heard. Marcus's eyes were still closed. Tears ran down his face, but he did not notice. He was somewhere else. He was in the music. He was back in that medical tent trying to save lives. He was in the helicopter, holding his friend's hand as he died. He was at the funeral, standing in his dress uniform while they played taps. The music captured it all. The pain, the sacrifice.
The love for his brothers and sisters in arms.
The weight of coming home when so many did not. Then slowly the music began to change again. Lighter notes returned. Hesitant at first. Like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. This was Lily, his daughter. His reason for living. The music became a lullaby. The song he hummed to her every night when he tucked her into bed. The melody he invented to chase away her nightmares when she woke up scared. The piece built to a crescendo. All the themes came together. Pain and hope. Loss and love. War and peace. Past and future. It all wove together in a tapestry of sound that filled every corner of the restaurant. And then with one final gentle chord it ended. Silence. Complete and total silence. Marcus opened his eyes. His hands were still on the keys. They were shaking worse now. He had pushed them hard. They would hurt later, but it did not matter. For the first time in 8 years he had played again. Really played. And it felt like coming home. He turned on the bench to face the restaurant. Every single person was staring at him. Some had tears on their faces. An elderly woman in the corner had her hand over her heart. A young couple held hands tightly. Then someone started clapping. Slowly at first. Then others joined in. Within seconds, the entire restaurant erupted in applause. People stood up from their tables. They clapped and clapped. Some whistled. Some shouted, "Bravo!" Marcus sat frozen. He did not know what to do. This was not supposed to happen. He was supposed to fail. That was the plan. Richard's plan. He looked at Richard's table. Richard was not clapping. He sat with his mouth open, his phone still in his hand. The recording was still going, but the look on his face was not triumph. It was shock and shame. The other men at his table were clapping too. They had stood up with everyone else. One of them was wiping his eyes. The applause continued for a full minute. Marcus stood up from the piano bench. He did not know whether to bow or run or hide. He had not performed for an audience in so long. He had forgotten what this felt like. Mr. Peterson was staring at him with wide eyes. His mouth was opening and closing, but no words came out. Finally, the applause began to fade. People sat back down. They were talking excitedly now. Marcus heard whispers all around him. "Did you see that? I cannot believe a server here can play like that. That was absolutely incredible. He must have trained professionally." Marcus walked slowly back toward Richard's table. The $500 was still sitting there. Richard was staring at it like he did not know what it was. Marcus stopped at the table. He looked at Richard. Richard looked back at him. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Richard grabbed the money. But instead of handing it to Marcus, he stuffed it back in his wallet. "That was adequate," Richard said. His voice was tight, angry, but hardly worth $500. Anyone can play piano if they practice enough. The other men at the table stared at Richard in disbelief. One of them spoke up. "Are you serious? That was extraordinary. Pay the man." "I will decide what is extraordinary," Richard snapped. "I said adequate, and I meant adequate." Marcus felt the anger return, but this time it was different. This time he was not angry at being mocked. He was angry at Richard's dishonesty, at his cruelty, at his inability to admit he was wrong. "I do not need your money, sir," Marcus said quietly. "I never did." He turned and walked toward the kitchen. He needed a moment. His hands were shaking badly now. His heart was pounding. He felt like he might collapse. But he also felt something else. Something he had not felt in a very long time. He felt alive. In the kitchen, the other servers and cooks stared at him. Nobody spoke at first. Then Maria, one of the older servers, walked up to him. "Marcus," she said softly, "I have worked here for 15 years. I have never seen anything like that." You were amazing. Thank you, Marcus managed to say. Why are you working here? She asked. With talent like that, you should be performing. You should be teaching. You should be... I have a daughter, Marcus cut her off. I need steady work. Reliable income. Music does not pay the bills. Maria nodded sadly. She understood. She had 3 kids of her own. Mr. Peterson came into the kitchen. He looked at Marcus for a long moment. You should have told me you could play like that, he said. You never asked, Marcus replied. Fair enough, Mr. Peterson sighed. Look, I am sorry about what happened out there. That man is awful, but he spends a lot of money here and I cannot afford to. I know, Marcus said. You cannot afford to lose customers like him. I understand. Take 15 minutes, Mr. Peterson said. Collect yourself. Then back to work. We still have a dinner rush to get through. Marcus nodded. He went to the small bathroom in the back and splashed cold water on his face. He looked at himself in the mirror. The same face looked back at him. Tired eyes, lines around his mouth from stress, a small scar on his temple from the explosion. Nothing had changed. Except everything had changed.
He had played again.
After 8 years of silence. After 8 years of telling himself that part of his life was over. That he was just Marcus the server now. Marcus the single dad. Marcus the veteran who could not cut it in the real world. But for those few minutes he had been Marcus the musician again. And it had felt right in a way nothing had felt right since before the war. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out. A text from his neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez. She watched Lily after school until Marcus got home. Lily finished her homework. We made cookies. She is asking when you will be home. I told her soon. Marcus smiled. Lily, his whole world. The reason he got up every morning. The reason he worked double shifts. The reason he had given up music in the first place. When he came back from Afghanistan, injured and traumatized, his wife had left. She said she could not handle it. Could not handle his nightmares. His shaking hands. The medical bills. The uncertainty. She left him with a 6-month-old baby and divorce papers. Marcus had a choice to make. He could chase his music dreams, which meant unstable income and uncertain future. Or he could find steady work and be the father Lily needed. It was not really a choice at all. He texted back. Leaving in 2 hours. Kiss her good night for me if she falls asleep. Marcus put his phone away and went back to work. The rest of the dinner rush passed in a blur. People kept staring at him. Some smiled. Some tried to talk to him about his playing. He stayed polite but brief. Richard and his group finished their meal and left without another word. Richard did not look at Marcus as he walked out. He did not leave a tip either. But something had happened. Marcus could feel it. Something had shifted in the restaurant. In the city. Maybe even in himself. He did not know it yet, but in those few minutes at the piano, everything had changed. The phones that had recorded him were already uploading the videos. The internet was already starting to buzz. The story was already beginning to spread. The story of the veteran server who played like an angel. The story of the rich man who tried to humiliate him and failed. The story of hidden talent and dignity in the face of cruelty. By tomorrow morning, millions of people would know his name. But tonight, Marcus just wanted to go home to Lily. Marcus walked through the quiet streets toward his apartment. The night air was cool on his face. His feet still hurt. His hands were shaking more than usual. But inside, he felt something strange. Something he had not felt in years. Peace. The walk home took 20 minutes. He passed the same stores he always passed. The corner grocery. The laundromat. The small park where he sometimes took Lily on weekends. Everything looked the same as it always did. But Marcus felt different. He kept thinking about the piano. About how his hands had remembered what to do. About how the music had poured out of him like water from a broken dam. 8 years of silence ended in one unexpected moment. He climbed the stairs to his 3rd-floor apartment. The building was old. The paint was peeling in the hallway. But the rent was affordable and the neighborhood was safe. That was what mattered. He unlocked the door quietly. The apartment was dark except for a small lamp in the living room. Mrs. Rodriguez was on the couch watching television with the sound low. Marcus, she said with a smile. She was a kind woman in her 60s. Her own children were grown and gone. She loved watching Lily. How was work? Different, Marcus said. Very different. Well, your daughter was an angel as always. She's sleeping now. We made chocolate chip cookies. There are some in the kitchen for you. Thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez. I do not know what I would do without you. Nonsense. It is my pleasure. Lily is a sweet child. Mrs. Rodriguez gathered her purse and sweater. Same time tomorrow? Yes, please. Thank you again. After Mrs. Rodriguez left, Marcus locked the door and went to Lily's room. He opened the door slowly, letting the light from the hallway spill in. Lily was asleep in her small bed. She had kicked off her blankets like she always did. Her dark hair was spread across the pillow. She was hugging her stuffed rabbit, the one Marcus had bought her for her 3rd birthday. Marcus walked in quietly and pulled the blankets back over her. She stirred a little but did not wake up. He kissed her forehead gently. "I love you, sweetheart," he whispered, "more than anything in this world." He watched her sleep for a moment. This was why he worked so hard, why he took rude customers and long hours, why he had given up music. Everything was for her. In the kitchen, Marcus found the plate of cookies. He took one and sat at the small table. The apartment was quiet. Through the thin walls, he could hear the television from next door. Someone upstairs was walking around. He pulled out his phone to check the time. It was almost 11. He needed to sleep. He had another shift tomorrow, but when he unlocked his phone, he saw something strange. He had 17 missed calls, 12 text messages, and his social media apps had notifications. Lots of notifications. Marcus rarely used social media. He had accounts, but he hardly ever checked them. Maybe once a week, sometimes less. He opened his messages first. They were from people he had not talked to in years. Old friends from high school. People from the conservatory. Even someone from his old army unit. "Marcus, is this you in the video? Dude, you are blowing up online. Have you seen this? I always knew you still had it in you. Call me. We need to talk about this." Marcus felt confused. "What video? What were they talking about?" He opened his social media. His notifications were full. Hundreds of them, tags, shares, comments. He clicked on the first one. It was a video, filmed from someone's phone. The angle was from the side, but Marcus could see himself clearly. He was sitting at the piano in the Sterling Rose. The video was titled, "Veteran Humiliated by Rich Man, Then This Happens." Marcus's heart started pounding. He pressed play. The video started with Richard's voice. $500 if you can play that piano. Show us that veterans can do more than serve drinks. Then the camera focused on Marcus walking to the piano. In the video, Marcus could see how his hands shook, how he hesitated before sitting down. Then he started playing. Even through the phone's speaker, the music sounded beautiful. Marcus watched himself play. He saw his own face, eyes closed, tears on his cheeks, completely lost in the music. The video captured the entire performance, all 6 minutes of it. When the music ended, the video showed the whole restaurant standing and clapping. It showed Richard's shocked face. It showed everything. The video had been posted 3 hours ago. It already had 2 million views. Marcus stared at his phone. 2 million views. 2 million people had watched him play. 2 million people had seen Richard try to humiliate him. He scrolled through the comments. There were thousands of them. "This made me cry. Beautiful. That rich guy is disgusting. Respect our veterans. This man is incredibly talented. Why is he serving tables? I would pay to hear him play a full concert. Does anyone know who he is? Someone find him." Marcus felt dizzy. This was not supposed to happen. He just wanted to work his shift and come home. He never wanted attention. He never wanted to be seen. But now millions of people had seen him. And the number was still growing. He checked the other messages. One was from a local news station. "We would love to interview you about your performance. Please contact us." Another was from a music magazine. "We are doing a story on undiscovered talent. Can we feature you?" There were more. Requests for interviews. Questions about his background. People wanting to know his story. Marcus put his phone down. His hands were shaking worse now. This was too much. This was all too much. He went to his bedroom and sat on the edge of his bed. He put his head in his hands and tried to breathe. What was he supposed to do? He had a job, a daughter, a quiet life. He did not want to be famous. He did not want millions of people watching him, but it was too late. The video was out there. The story was spreading. Marcus did not sleep well that night. He kept waking up, checking his phone. The views kept climbing. 3 million, 4 million. By morning, it was at 6 million views. And there were more videos now, different angles from different phones, all showing the same thing. The server who played like a master. The rich man who was proven wrong. Some videos included what happened after. Richard refusing to pay. Richard calling the performance adequate. Those videos made people even angrier. Someone find out who this Richard guy is and he needs to apologize. This is disgusting behavior, Marcus. Got up at 6 to make breakfast for Lily. She came out of her room rubbing her eyes. Good morning. Daddy, she said. Good morning, princess. Did you sleep well? Uh-huh. Mrs. Rodriguez and I made cookies. Did you have one? I did. It was delicious. Marcus made her cereal and got her ready for school. This was their routine. Every morning, the same thing. It was comfortable, safe, normal. But Marcus knew normal was about to change. After he dropped Lily at school, his phone rang. It was Mr. Peterson from the restaurant. Marcus, we need to talk. Can you come in early today? Is everything okay? Just come in, please. Marcus took the bus to the restaurant. When he arrived, Mr. Peterson was waiting outside. He looked stressed. Marcus, have you seen the videos? Mr. Peterson asked. Yes. We have had over 300 calls this morning. People wanting reservations. People wanting to know if you will be playing again. The phone has not stopped ringing. Marcus did not know what to say. We also had calls from the press. News stations, magazines, everyone wants to talk to you. I just want to do my job, Marcus said. Mr. Peterson sighed. I know, but this is bigger than that now. You are famous, Marcus, whether you want to be or not. They went inside. The restaurant was empty this early, but there were already people outside with cameras, reporters. They had found out where Marcus worked. What should I do? Marcus asked. I do not know, Mr. Peterson admitted, but I think you need to prepare for your life to change. Marcus went through his shift in a daze. Customers who came in for lunch stared at him. Some asked for photos. Some just wanted to shake his hand. You are the piano player, they said. We saw the video. You are amazing. Marcus tried to stay professional. He took orders. He brought food, he smiled. But inside he was panicking. During his break, his phone rang. Unknown number. He almost did not answer. But something made him pick up. Hello? Is this Marcus Chen? The voice was female, older, cultured. Yes, who is this? My name is Helena Rothstein. I was at the Sterling Rose last night. I saw you play. Marcus remembered her, the elderly woman who had cried during his performance. I am calling because I need to speak with you about your music. Can we meet? I do not understand, Marcus said. Please, just give me 30 minutes of your time. I will come to you, anywhere you want. There was something in her voice, something urgent and sincere. Okay, Marcus heard himself say. There is a coffee shop 2 blocks from the restaurant. I can meet you there after my shift. Thank you. I will see you at 4 o'clock, she hung up. Marcus stared at his phone. Who was Helena Rothstein? Why did she want to meet him? The rest of his shift crawled by. The videos were still spreading. Now there were news articles. Veteran's stunning performance goes viral. Rich man's cruel challenge backfires. The server who played like an angel. Some articles had found out about Richard. His full name. His company. People were calling for boycotts. The backlash was massive. Marcus felt sorry for Richard in a way. Yes, Richard had been cruel. But Marcus had not wanted to ruin his life. He just wanted to be left alone. At 4 o'clock, Marcus walked to the coffee shop. Helena Rothstein was already there. She sat at a corner table with a cup of tea. She was smaller than he remembered, thin and elegant. She wore a simple dress and pearls. Her white hair was pulled back neatly. Mr. Chen, she said, standing up when he approached. Thank you for meeting me. Call me Marcus, and you may call me Helena. Please sit. Marcus sat down across from her. Up close, he could see she was very old, maybe 80, but her eyes were sharp and clear. I will not waste your time, Helena said. I taught at Juilliard for 40 years. I have trained some of the finest pianists in the world. I have heard thousands of students play, professionals, prodigies, masters. She leaned forward. What you did last night was extraordinary. Not just technically, though your technique was flawless. But emotionally, that piece you played, it was your own composition, was it not? Marcus nodded. I knew it. I could tell. The way you played it. The emotion. That cannot be faked. Helena's eyes were intense now. Marcus, you have a rare gift. A gift that should not be wasted serving tables. No offense to your profession. None taken, Marcus said quietly. Tell me your story. How does someone with your talent end up here? Marcus did not want to talk about it. But something about Helena made him trust her. So he told her everything. He told her about his scholarship to the conservatory. About September 11th and his decision to enlist. About Afghanistan and the IED explosion. About his injured hands and his friend who died. He told her about coming home. About his wife leaving. About being alone with a baby and no money and no future. I had to choose, Marcus said. Music or stability. Dreams or survival. It was not really a choice. Helena listened without interrupting. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. And your daughter, Lily, how old is she now? 8. Do you regret your choice? Marcus thought about it. No, Lily is everything to me. I would make the same choice again. You are a good father, Helena said. But Marcus, what if you did not have to choose? What if you could have both? I do not understand. Helena pulled out a business card and slid it across the table. It had her name and a phone number. Nothing else. I want to help you. I have connections in the music world. I can make calls. I can open doors. But more than that, I have an idea, a way for you to use your talent while still taking care of your daughter. What kind of idea? A benefit concert. A showcase of your talent. We charge admission. All proceeds go to a scholarship fund for children of veterans, including Lily. Marcus stared at her. A concert? I have not performed in 8 years. My hands shake. I cannot. Your hands were shaking last night, Helena interrupted. And you still played beautifully. Marcus, you have a story that people need to hear, and you have talent that people need to experience. This is not just about you. This is about all the veterans who come home and struggle, who sacrifice and get forgotten. Marcus felt overwhelmed. I need to think about this, of course. But think quickly. The attention you are getting now will not last forever. We need to act while people are paying attention. She stood up to leave, then paused. One more thing. That tattoo on your arm, the treble clef with the dog tags. What are the names below it? My friends who died, David Martinez, James Cooper, Sarah Williams? Helena nodded slowly. Play for them, Marcus. They gave everything. Honor them with your music. She left before Marcus could respond. Marcus sat alone in the coffee shop for a long time. Outside, the sun was setting. People walked past the window. Normal people living normal lives. His phone buzzed. Another message. This one from an old friend from the conservatory. Marcus, I cannot believe that was you. You were the best of us back then. You still are. Do not let this moment pass. The world needs to hear you play. Marcus thought about his friends in Afghanistan. David had loved music too. He used to make Marcus play for the unit on an old keyboard someone had sent from home. David would close his eyes and smile. Reminds me of home, David would say. David never made it home. Marcus looked at Helena's card. He thought about Lily, about his friends, about the 8 years he had spent in silence. Maybe Helena was right. Maybe he did not have to choose anymore. Maybe it was time to stop hiding his gift. He picked up his phone and called Helena. I will do it, he said when she answered. I will do the concert. Helena's voice was warm. I was hoping you would say that. We have a lot of work to do. When Marcus picked up Lily from school that day, she ran to him like always. Daddy, Mrs. Rodriguez said people are talking about you on TV. Is that true? Marcus knelt down to her level. Yes, Princess. Something unexpected happened at work. What happened? I played piano, and some people heard it, and now they want me to play more. Lily's eyes went wide. You played piano? Like the songs you hummed to me? Yes, just like that. Can I hear you play piano for real someday? Marcus pulled his daughter into a hug. Yes, sweetheart. I promise. You will hear me play very soon. That night, after Lily went to bed, Marcus sat at their small kitchen table. He pulled out an old notebook from a box in his closet. It was full of musical compositions he had written years ago. Notes and ideas he had never developed. He opened to a blank page and picked up a pencil. For the first time in 8 years, Marcus started writing music again. His hands shook as he wrote. But they had shaken when he played too, and that had turned out okay. The music came slowly at first, then faster. The notes filled the page. A new piece. A new story. This one was called Letters to Lily. It was about a father's love, about sacrifice and hope, about finding your way back to yourself. Marcus wrote until midnight. When he finally stopped, he had the outline of a complete composition. It would need work, practice, refinement, but it was a start. Outside his window, the city lights glowed in the darkness. Somewhere out there, millions of people had watched him play. Somewhere, his story was spreading. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, reporters, questions, decisions to make. But tonight, Marcus had his music back, and for the first time in 8 years, that was enough. Marcus woke up to the sound of voices outside his apartment building. He looked at his clock. 6 in the morning. Who would be outside this early? He went to the window and looked down. His stomach dropped. There were reporters on the sidewalk. At least a dozen of them. Cameras, microphones, news vans parked on the street. They were waiting for him. Marcus stepped back from the window. His heart was racing. This was real. This was really happening. He heard Lily moving in her room. She would be awake soon. He had to get her to school. But how could he leave the building with all those people outside? He called Mrs. Rodriguez. I saw them on the news, she said before he could explain. Those reporters are looking for you. What are you going to do? I do not know. I need to get Lily to school. Bring her to my apartment. Use the back stairs. I will take her to school today. Thank you. I will be there in 10 minutes. Marcus got Lily dressed and ready. She was excited about something, but he was too distracted to pay attention. Daddy, everyone at school is talking about you, Lily said as they walked down the back stairs. They say you are famous. It is complicated, Princess. Are you famous? Marcus did not know how to answer. Maybe a little bit. For now, Mrs. Rodriguez was waiting by her door. She took Lily's hand. Do not worry about anything, she told Marcus. I will take care of her. You deal with whatever is happening out there. After they left, Marcus sat in Mrs. Rodriguez's apartment and called Mr. Peterson. I cannot come to work today, Marcus said. There are reporters outside my building. I know. They are here too. At the restaurant. Marcus, I think you need to take some time off. This is too much. Too crazy. I need the money for my shifts. I will pay you anyway. Just stay home for a few days. Let this settle down. After hanging up, Marcus called Helena. Good morning, Marcus. I assume you have seen the news? There are reporters outside my apartment. Yes, I expected that. The story is much bigger than we thought. It is national news now. International, actually. Marcus felt dizzy. International? The video has 40 million views now. There are articles in newspapers around the world. You touched something in people, Marcus. Something deep. I just played piano. You did more than that. You showed dignity in the face of cruelty. You proved that veterans deserve respect. You gave people hope. Helena paused. Have you seen what is happening to Richard Vandermeer? No. His company's stock has dropped 20%. Major clients are pulling their contracts. There are protests outside his office. People are demanding he resign. Marcus felt sick. I did not want that. I just wanted him to leave me alone. This is not your fault, Marcus. Richard did this to himself. He was cruel. He was recorded being cruel. Now he faces the consequences. It still feels wrong. Perhaps. But that is not your responsibility. Right now, we need to focus on you. On this concert. Are you still willing? Marcus thought about it. Everything was moving so fast. Too fast. Yes, he said finally. I am still willing. Good, I have already started making calls. I have a friend who owns a concert hall downtown. He is willing to donate the space. We can schedule it for 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks? That is not much time. We have to move quickly. The attention you have now will not last. We need to use it while we can. Marcus spent the rest of the morning hiding in Mrs. Rodriguez's apartment. He watched the news. Every channel was talking about him, the veteran piano player who shocked the world. From war hero to viral sensation, the most beautiful performance you will see. Today, they showed the video over and over. They interviewed people who had been at the restaurant. They talked about Richard and his company's problems. Some reporters had found out more about Marcus. They talked about his service record, his injuries, his wife leaving. Some of it was accurate, some was not. Sources say Marcus Chen gave up a promising music career to serve his country. Friends describe him as a devoted father who works multiple jobs to support his daughter. His army unit calls him a hero who saved countless lives. Marcus watched it all with a strange feeling. They were talking about him, but it did not feel like him. It felt like they were talking about a character, a story, not a real person. Around noon, his phone rang. Unknown number again. He almost did not answer. Hello? Marcus Chen? The voice was male, young, nervous. Yes? My name is David Martinez, Jr. I think you knew my father. Marcus froze. David Martinez. His friend, the one who died in Afghanistan. Your father and I served together, Marcus said quietly. I know. My mom told me. She saw the video. She saw your tattoo. His name is on it. Yes, your father was my best friend. There was silence on the line. Then Marcus heard the young man crying. I am sorry, David Jr. said. I just never met anyone who knew him. He died when I was 3. I do not remember him. Marcus felt his own eyes fill with tears. Your father was a good man. One of the best I ever knew. My mom wants to talk to you. Can you call her? Please, of course. Give me her number. After he hung up, Marcus sat with his head in his hands. David's son. He had not thought about David having a family. Having a child who grew up without a father. He called the number David Jr. had given him. A woman answered. Marcus? Her voice was thick with emotion. Is it really you? Yes, Mrs. Martinez, it is me. Call me Rosa, please. She took a breath. I saw the video. I saw David's name on your arm. After all these years, you still remember him. I remember him every day. He talked about you in his letters. He said you were like a brother to him. He said your music kept everyone sane over there. Marcus had not known David wrote about him. He was like a brother to me too. Can we meet? I live in the city. I would love to talk to you about him. And I want David Jr. to know someone who knew his father. I would like that very much. They agreed to meet the next day at a quiet park. After hanging up, Marcus felt exhausted, emotionally drained, but also lighter somehow. That afternoon, Helena called again. I have good news. I spoke to several of my former students, professional musicians. They want to perform with you at the concert. We can make this a full evening of music. Helena, I appreciate everything you are doing, but I am just one person. I am not special. Yes, you are special. That is what you do not understand yet. Your talent is special. Your story is special. The way you play with emotion and truth is special. Stop fighting this, Marcus. Accept it. That evening, Marcus picked up Lily from Mrs. Rodriguez's apartment. Daddy, is it true you were on TV? Lily asked. Yes, Princess. Can I see? Marcus showed her one of the videos on his phone. Lily watched with wide eyes. When the music started, she smiled. That is beautiful, Daddy. You sound like an angel. Marcus hugged her. Thank you, sweetheart. Why did that mean man say those things to you? Some people are just mean sometimes. Well, I think he was wrong. You are amazing. At bedtime, Lily asked Marcus to tell her a story. He told her about when he first learned to play piano. When he was 6 years old. About his teacher, Mrs. Kim, who saw his talent and gave him free lessons because his family could not afford them. She believed in me, Marcus said, even when I did not believe in myself. Like Helena believes in you now. Marcus smiled. Yes, like Helena believes in me now. After Lily fell asleep, Marcus sat down with his notebook. He had more work to do on Letters to Lily. The piece needed to be perfect. He worked for hours, writing, crossing out, rewriting. The music flowed easier now, like a door had opened inside him. Around midnight, someone knocked on his door. Marcus was surprised. Nobody visited this late. He looked through the peephole. It was a man in an expensive suit. Alone. Marcus opened the door with the chain still on. Can I help you? Mr. Chen, my name is James Whitmore. I am Richard Vandermeer's attorney. May I speak with you for a moment? Marcus was tired. He did not want to deal with this. But he was also curious. He opened the door. The attorney stepped inside, looking around the small apartment. Mr. Vandermeer wanted me to deliver a message. He is very sorry for what happened at the restaurant. His behavior was inappropriate and cruel. He wishes to apologize. Then why is he not here himself? The attorney looked uncomfortable. He is dealing with significant backlash from his actions. He thought it would be better to send me. So he is not really sorry. He is just worried about his reputation. Mr. Chen, I am authorized to offer you compensation for your trouble, for the embarrassment you suffered. I do not want his money. Mr. Vandermeer is prepared to be very generous. We are talking about a substantial sum. Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. Let me be clear. I do not want anything from Richard Vandermeer. I do not want his money. I do not want his apology. I just want him to leave me alone. But surely you understand that this situation has spiraled out of control. Mr. Vandermeer's entire career is at risk. That is not my problem. He made his choices. Now he lives with them. The attorney looked frustrated. What do you want then? What will make this go away? Nothing. Because this is not about me and Richard. This is bigger than that now. What do you mean? Marcus thought about David Jr., about Rosa Martinez, about all the veterans who came home to struggle in silence. People are paying attention now. They are talking about how veterans are treated, about respect and dignity. Richard's behavior was just an example of a bigger problem. That is what matters. Not his career. Not his money. The conversation. The attorney stood up. I will relay your message to Mr. Vandermeer, but I think you are making a mistake. The attention you are getting will fade, and you will be left with nothing. I will be left with my daughter and my dignity. That is not nothing. After the attorney left, Marcus could not sleep. He kept thinking about what he had said, about the bigger conversation. He thought about all the veterans he had known, the ones who struggled to find jobs, the ones who fought with the VA for benefits, the ones who suffered in silence because nobody wanted to hear about war. Maybe Helena was right. Maybe this was about more than just him. The next morning, Marcus met Rosa Martinez and David Jr. at the park. Rosa was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. David Jr. was 19, tall like his father, with the same smile Marcus remembered. They sat on a bench and talked for hours. Rosa showed him pictures of David, letters he had sent home. She told stories about their life before he enlisted. He always talked about your music, Rosa said. He said it reminded everyone why they were fighting. To get back to beauty, to get back to normal life. David Jr. listened quietly. Then he said, I'm in college now, studying music education. I want to teach kids like my dad would have wanted. Marcus felt overwhelmed. Your father would be so proud of you. My mom said you gave up music, but now you are playing again. What changed? Marcus thought about it. I guess I realized that hiding my talent was not honoring the people I lost. It was hiding from them. Your father loved music. He would want me to play. Rosa reached over and took Marcus's hand. Thank you for remembering him. Thank you for keeping his name alive. After they left, Marcus walked home slowly. The reporters were still outside his building, but there were fewer now. He pushed through them without saying anything. Inside his apartment, he found a package by his door. No return address. He opened it carefully. Inside was a note and a check. The note was handwritten. Mr. Chen, I was at the restaurant that night. Your performance moved me deeply. Please accept this donation for your daughter's education. You deserve better than what you have. A friend. The check was for $50,000. Marcus stared at it. $50,000. That was more money than he made in 2 years. He called Helena. Someone sent me money. A lot of money. I do not understand. People want to help you, Marcus. They see your struggle. They want to make it easier. But I did not ask for help. Sometimes the best help comes when we do not ask for it. Use the money. Put it toward Lily's future. That is what they intended. That night, Marcus could not sleep again. Too much was happening, too fast. He got up and went to the kitchen. He made tea and sat at the table. He thought about everything that had changed in just 3 days. The video, the attention, the money, the concert. 3 days ago, he was invisible. Just a server. Just a single dad struggling to get by. Now the whole world was watching. He thought about what the attorney had said. That the attention would fade. That he would be left with nothing. But Marcus did not think that was true, because something had changed inside him. Something permanent. He had remembered who he was before the war. Before the struggle. Before the silence. He was Marcus Chen. The boy who fell in love with piano when he was 6. The teenager who won scholarships. The young man who could make people cry with his music. The war had not taken that away. The injury had not destroyed it. The hard years had not erased it. It had always been there, waiting. And now it was back. Marcus opened his notebook to Letters to Lily. He read through what he had written. It was good, really good, but it was not finished yet. He picked up his pencil and started writing again. This time the music came easy. It poured out like water, like breath, like something that had been trapped for too long and was finally free. He wrote about David and his other fallen friends. He wrote about the explosion and the pain. He wrote about coming home broken. He wrote about his wife leaving and being alone with a baby. But he also wrote about Lily's first smile, her first word, her first day of school. He wrote about reading her bedtime stories and making her laugh. He wrote about teaching her to be kind and strong. He wrote about love, about sacrifice, about finding light in darkness. When he finally stopped, the sun was coming up. He had been writing all night. His hands hurt. His eyes were tired. But the piece was done. Letters to Lily was complete. Marcus looked at the pages of music. This was it. This was what he would play at the concert. This was his truth, his story, his heart on paper. He went to Lily's room and watched her sleep. She was curled up with her rabbit, peaceful and innocent. "I am going to make you proud, princess," he whispered. "I promise." That morning when Lily woke up, Marcus made her favorite breakfast, pancakes with chocolate chips. "Daddy, why are you so happy?" Lily asked. "Because I finished something important, something I have been working on for you." "For me?" "Yes, a piece of music. It is called Letters to Lily, and I am going to play it at a concert in a few weeks." Lily's eyes went wide. "A real concert? Can I come?" "Of course you can come. You are the most important person there." Lily jumped up and hugged him. "I cannot wait, Daddy." Later that day, Marcus met with Helena at a coffee shop. She brought a stack of papers. "This is the program for the concert," she said. "I have confirmed 4 professional musicians to perform with you. We will sell tickets for $100 each. All proceeds go to the scholarship fund." $100? Nobody will pay that much to hear me. Helena smiled. "Marcus, the concert is already sold out." "What? How?" "We have not even announced it yet. I announced it this morning on social media. The venue holds 800 people. All 800 tickets sold in 40 minutes. Marcus could not process this. 800 tickets, at $100 each. That is $80,000 for the scholarship fund. And that is just from ticket sales. We will also accept donations at the event." Marcus felt overwhelmed again. But this time it was not panic. It was something else, hope. Maybe this could work. Maybe he could use his talent to help other veterans' families. Other kids like David Jr. who grew up without fathers. Maybe something good could come from Richard's cruelty after all. "I am scared, Helena," Marcus admitted. "What if I mess up? What if my hands shake too much? What if I forget the music?" Helena reached across the table and took his hand. "Marcus, do you know why I reached out to you? Why I am helping you?" "No." "Because I saw something in you that night. Not just talent, but truth. You played from your soul. That cannot be faked. That cannot be taught. And it cannot be destroyed by shaky hands or nerves or anything else." She squeezed his hand. "You are going to be wonderful." "I know it. The audience knows it. Now you just need to believe it yourself." Marcus looked at this woman who had appeared in his life just days ago. This stranger who believed in him more than he believed in himself. "Thank you," he said, "for everything. Thank me by practicing. We have 3 weeks. Make them count." That evening, Marcus told Lily about the concert, about the scholarship fund, about how they were going to help other kids whose parents served in the military. The next 3 weeks passed in a blur. Marcus had never been so busy in his entire life. Every morning started the same. Wake up, get Lily ready for school. Try to avoid the reporters who still showed up sometimes. Then practice. Helena had arranged for Marcus to use a practice room at a music school downtown. It was a small room with a good piano and soundproof walls. Marcus would spend 4 to 6 hours there every day, playing, practicing, getting ready. His hands hurt constantly now. The old injury flared up from all the practice. Some days his fingers would not cooperate. They would lock up or shake so badly he had to stop, but he pushed through. He had to. Helena visited him often during practice. She would sit and listen, then give him notes. More emotion in this section. You are holding back. Slow down here. Let the audience feel it. Beautiful. But you can do better. Again. Sometimes Marcus wanted to scream at her, to tell her he was doing his best. But he knew she was right. He could do better. The video continued to spread. By the end of the first week, it had 70 million views. 70 million people had watched him play. News stories appeared everywhere. Some were good. They talked about his talent and his service. Some were less good. They focused on Richard and the drama. Richard Vandermeer had become the most hated man in America. His company had lost millions. His board of directors was meeting to discuss his future. Protesters showed up at his office every day. Marcus felt bad about it sometimes. He never wanted to ruin anyone's life, but Helena would remind him. Richard did this to himself. You just played piano. Everything else was his choice. Other videos started appearing online too. Veterans sharing their own stories. Talking about coming home. About struggling to find work. About being disrespected or forgotten. The hashtag #RespectOurVeterans was trending for weeks. People posted pictures of family members who had served. They shared stories of sacrifice and courage. Marcus had started something, a conversation that was bigger than him. One afternoon, Marcus got a call from a news producer. "Mr. Chen, we would love to have you on our morning show. We can send a car for you. It would just be a short interview." Marcus had refused all interview requests so far. He did not want the attention. He did not want to be famous, but Helena convinced him to do this one. People want to hear from you, not just see you play. They want to know who you are. Let them see the real Marcus. So Marcus agreed. The morning of the interview, Marcus was so nervous he could barely eat breakfast. Lily noticed. "Daddy, are you okay?" "Just nervous, Princess, and about what?" "I am going to be on TV talking about myself." Lily thought for a moment. "Just be yourself, Daddy, that is who people like." Marcus smiled. "When did you get so wise?" "I learned from you." The news studio was bigger than Marcus expected. Bright lights everywhere. Cameras. People rushing around with clipboards and headsets. A young woman with too much makeup led him to a chair on the set. Across from him sat the host, Jennifer Walsh. She was famous. Marcus had seen her on TV many times. "Thank you for joining us, Marcus," Jennifer said with a warm smile. "Can I call you Marcus?" "Of course, and I have to say your video brought me to tears. I have watched it at least a dozen times. You are incredibly talented. Thank you." The cameras started rolling. Red lights came on. Marcus tried not to look at them. Jennifer started with easy questions. Where did he learn to play? How long had he been playing? What inspired him? Marcus answered as honestly as he could. He talked about Mrs. Kim, his first teacher, about falling in love with music as a child. Then Jennifer asked the harder questions. "You served in Afghanistan. Can you tell us about that?" Marcus took a breath. "I was an army medic. I treated wounded soldiers. It was the hardest thing I have ever done, but also the most important. You were injured in an explosion. Is that why your hands shake?" "Yes, I was lucky to keep my hands at all. And that is why you stopped playing piano?" Marcus paused. Nobody had asked him this directly before. "Partly, but mainly I stopped because I had a daughter to take care of. Music does not pay bills, so I did what I had to do. But you are playing again now. What changed?" Marcus thought about how to answer. "I think I realized that hiding my talent was not protecting my daughter. It was hiding from who I really am, and she deserves a father who is whole." Jennifer's eyes got misty. "That is beautiful. Tell us about the scholarship fund." About the concert, Marcus explained the plan, how all the money would go to help children of veterans, how they wanted to make sure kids like Lily had opportunities. "Education was what saved me as a kid," Marcus said. "My music scholarship. It gave me hope, a future. I want to give that to other kids." The interview lasted 20 minutes. When it was over, Jennifer hugged him. "You are a special person, Marcus. Thank you for sharing your story." That night, the interview aired. Millions of people watched it. The response was overwhelming. Donations started pouring into the scholarship fund. Small amounts, large amounts. People wanted to help. Within a week, the fund had raised over $300,000. And the concert had not even happened yet. Marcus could not believe it. He had gone from struggling to pay rent to helping create a scholarship fund worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, all in 3 weeks. But the attention brought problems too. Reporters followed him everywhere now. They waited outside Lily's school. They tried to interview his neighbors. They dug into his past. One tabloid published a story about his ex-wife, how she had abandoned him and Lily. They tracked her down and got quotes. She said terrible things, claimed Marcus had been abusive and unstable after coming home from war. It was all lies, but the story spread anyway. Marcus was furious. Helena told him to ignore it. People who know you know the truth. The rest does not matter, but it did matter, because Lily heard about it at school. Other kids told her. She came home crying. "Daddy, the kids at school said you were mean to Mommy, that you scared her away." Marcus held his daughter and felt rage burning in his chest. "Princess, that is not true. Your mother left because she was not ready to be a parent. It had nothing to do with me being mean. Then why did she say those things? I do not know. Maybe she is angry. Maybe she wants attention. People say hurtful things sometimes. I do not like people talking about you. I know, sweetheart. I do not like it either." That night, after Lily went to bed, Marcus almost called Helena to cancel the concert. This was too much. The pressure, the lies, the invasion of privacy. But then he thought about David Jr., about Rosa Martinez, about all the families the scholarship fund would help. He could not quit now. 2 weeks before the concert, Richard Vandermeer finally made a public statement. He appeared on television looking tired and defeated. His expensive suit looked rumpled. His perfect hair was messy. "I want to apologize," Richard said to the camera. "My behavior at the Sterling Rose was cruel and unacceptable. I disrespected Mr. Chen and all veterans. I was wrong. Completely wrong." He paused, seeming to fight emotion. "I have spent the last few weeks reflecting on my actions, on my privilege, on how I have treated people I considered beneath me. I am ashamed." Richard looked directly at the camera. "Marcus Chen is a better man than I will ever be. He served his country with honor. He has raised his daughter with love and sacrifice. He has more talent in his little finger than I have in my entire body." The host asked, "What are you going to do to make this right?" "I am stepping down as CEO of my company. I am donating $1 million to the Veterans Scholarship Fund in Marcus Chen's name, and I'm going to spend time figuring out how to be a better person." Marcus watched the interview at home. He did not know how to feel. Part of him was satisfied. Richard had apologized. Really apologized, but part of him was sad. Richard's life had been destroyed. His career was over. His reputation was ruined, all because of one cruel moment caught on camera. The next day, the $1 million appeared in the scholarship fund account. It was real. Richard had kept his word. Helena called Marcus immediately. "Did you see the donation?" "Yes." "Marcus, do you know what this means? With this money and the ticket sales and the other donations, we have over $1.5 million. We can help hundreds of kids." Marcus felt overwhelmed. "I never expected any of this, I know. But you started something important. Something that matters. You should be proud." Practice continued. 10 days before the concert, 9 days. 8 days Marcus practiced until his hands bled. Until he could play letters to Lily perfectly even when exhausted. Even when his hands shook. Even when his mind wandered, Helena brought in the other musicians who would perform. They were young professionals, talented and kind. They treated Marcus with respect, like an equal. One of them, a violinist named Sarah, pulled him aside after rehearsal. "I just want you to know you are an inspiration. My brother served in Iraq. He came home different, broken. He would not talk to anyone, would not get help." She wiped her eyes. "He saw your video. He called me for the first time in 2 years. He said if you could keep going, maybe he could too." Marcus did not know what to say. "Is he okay?" "He is getting help now, therapy, medication. He is trying. Because of you." Stories like this kept coming. Veterans who saw the video and felt less alone. Families who felt understood. People who had never thought about veteran issues before suddenly cared. Marcus was changing lives without even trying. "Are you ready?" Marcus thought about the question. Was he ready? He had practiced more in 3 weeks than he had in the previous 8 years. His hands hurt constantly. His nerves were shot. He had not slept well in days. But yes, he was ready. "I am ready." The night before the concert, Marcus could not sleep at all. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow night, he would walk onto a stage in front of 800 people. Plus however many watched the live stream. They had decided to stream the concert online for free so everyone could watch. He got up and went to the kitchen, made tea, sat at the table. He thought about everything that had led to this moment. The cruel challenge from Richard, the video going viral, meeting Helena, the practice, the interviews, the attention. It all seemed impossible, like a dream, but it was real. And tomorrow he would play, really play, for the first time as a professional musician. He heard Lily's door open. She came into the kitchen rubbing her eyes. "Daddy, why are you awake?" "Could not sleep, Princess. Too much on my mind." Lily climbed into his lap. She was getting big. 8 years old. Not a baby anymore. "Are you nervous about tomorrow?" "Very nervous." "You are going to be amazing, Daddy, I know it." "How can you be so sure?" Lily looked up at him with serious eyes. "Because when you play piano, you smile. And when you smile, I know you are happy. And when you are happy, everything is perfect." Marcus felt tears in his eyes. "When did you get so smart?" "I learned from the best." They sat together in the quiet kitchen, father and daughter. In a few hours, the sun would rise on the most important day of Marcus's life. But right now, in this moment, everything was already perfect. Marcus carried Lily back to her bed and tucked her in. He kissed her forehead and whispered, "I love you more than all the music in the world." "I love you more than all the stars in the sky," Lily whispered back. It was their special saying. They had been saying it to each other since she was tiny. Back in his room, Marcus finally felt calm. Tomorrow would come.
He would play.
Whatever happened after that did not matter. He had his daughter. He had his music back. He had helped create something that would change lives. That was enough. The morning of the concert arrived with bright sunshine. Marcus woke up early and made breakfast. Pancakes again, Lily's favorite. Mrs. Rodriguez came over to help Lily get ready. She fussed over the blue dress, making sure everything was perfect. "You look like a princess," Mrs. Rodriguez said. "Daddy calls me princess all the time," Lily said proudly. Marcus put on the suit Helena had bought for him. Black with a crisp white shirt. He looked at himself in the mirror. He barely recognized the man staring back. 3 weeks ago, he was wearing a server's vest and cheap black pants. Now he looked like a real musician, a professional. "You clean up nice," Mrs. Rodriguez said with a smile. The concert was not until 7 in the evening. But Helena wanted Marcus there by 3 for sound check and final preparations. A car arrived to take them to the venue. A real car service, with a driver. Lily's eyes were huge. "Daddy, are we rich now?" Marcus laughed. "No, Princess, but we have generous friends." The concert hall was beautiful. Marcus had never been inside before. Red velvet seats, crystal chandeliers, a stage that seemed impossibly large. Helena was already there, directing people, setting up programs, checking microphones. When she saw Marcus, she rushed over. "How are you feeling?" "Terrified." "Good, that means you care." She smiled. "Come on, let me show you the piano." The piano on stage was magnificent, a full concert grand, black and gleaming under the lights. Marcus sat down at the bench. He touched the keys gently. They were perfectly tuned, responsive and warm. "Play something," Helena said. Marcus played a few scales, then a bit of Letters to Lily. The sound filled the empty hall, rich and full and beautiful. "Perfect," Helena said. "You are going to be wonderful tonight." The afternoon passed in a haze. Sound checks, meeting the other performers, going over the program, dealing with last-minute details. At 6 o'clock, the doors opened. People started filing in. Marcus watched from backstage as the seats filled up. He saw Rosa Martinez and David Jr. They waved at him. He saw Mr. Peterson from the restaurant, and Maria and the other servers. They had all come to support him. He saw veterans in uniform, families with children, old people and young people, rich people and poor people, all here to listen to him play. Marcus felt his hands start shaking. Not from the injury, from fear. "Daddy?" Lily appeared beside him. She was holding his hand. "You are going to be great." "I promise." Marcus knelt down and hugged her. "Thank you, Princess. I needed to hear that." At 7 o'clock exactly, the lights dimmed. The audience fell silent. Helena walked onto the stage. The spotlight followed her. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. What you are about to witness is more than just a concert. It is a celebration of talent, courage, and the human spirit." She told the story about Marcus serving his country, about coming home injured, about giving up music to raise his daughter, about the cruel challenge that changed everything. And now, Helena said, I am proud to introduce the other performers who will be joining Marcus tonight. The violinist Sarah came out, then a cellist named Michael, a flutist named Amanda, a pianist named James who would play duets with Marcus. They each performed a piece, beautiful music that moved the audience. People clapped and cheered, but Marcus could barely focus. He was next. His turn was coming. Finally, Helena returned to the stage, and now the moment we have all been waiting for. Please welcome Marcus Chin. The audience erupted in applause, standing ovation before he even started. Marcus walked onto the stage. The lights were bright in his eyes. He could not see the audience clearly, just shapes and shadows, but he could feel them. 800 people watching, waiting. He sat at the piano, adjusted the bench, placed his hands on the keys. They were shaking badly. He looked out at the audience, at the blur of faces. He thought about running, about saying he could not do this. Then he saw Lily, front row, smiling at him, believing in him, and he remembered why he was here, for her, for David and his other fallen friends, for all the veterans who struggled, for all the families who sacrificed. Marcus closed his eyes, took a breath, and began to play Letters to Lily. The opening notes were soft, delicate, like a whisper. The audience leaned forward to listen. Then the music grew, built, swelled into something powerful and emotional. Marcus forgot about his shaking hands, forgot about the crowd, forgot about everything except the music. He played the first movement, the section about his childhood, about discovering music, about dreams and possibility. Then the second movement, darker, the war, the explosion, the loss. Some people in the audience were crying now. Marcus could hear quiet sobs. The third movement, coming home broken, being alone with a baby, the struggle to survive. The music was raw, honest. It held nothing back. And then the final movement, Lily, his beautiful daughter, his reason for everything. The melody was a lullaby, gentle and loving. It spoke of bedtime stories and goodnight kisses, of watching her grow, of being her father. The music built to a final crescendo, all the themes coming together. Pain and joy, loss and love, darkness and light. Marcus played the final chord, let it ring out into the silence. Then nothing. Complete silence. For a long moment nobody moved. Then the applause started, like thunder, like a storm. The entire audience stood, clapping, cheering, crying. Marcus opened his eyes. His face was wet with tears. His hands were shaking worse than ever. But he had done it. He had played his truth, his story, his heart. The ovation lasted 5 minutes. People would not stop clapping. Finally, Marcus stood and bowed. The applause grew even louder. He looked at Lily. She was jumping up and down, clapping with her whole body. Helena came onto the stage and hugged him. I told you, she whispered. I told you that you were special. The concert continued. More performances, but nothing could match what Marcus had just done. At the end of the night, Helena announced the final total. Thanks to your generosity tonight, we have raised over $2 million for the Veterans Scholarship Fund. The audience gasped. $2 million. This money will help hundreds of children, give them opportunities, give them hope, all because one man had the courage to play piano. After the concert, people lined up to meet Marcus, to shake his hand, to thank him. Rosa Martinez hugged him with tears in her eyes. David would be so proud of you. Mr. Peterson apologized for ever doubting him. You were always more than just a server. Veterans thanked him for telling their story, for making people understand. Parents thanked him for helping their children. It went on for hours. Marcus's hand hurt from all the handshakes. His face hurt from smiling. But his heart was full. Finally, late at night, Marcus and Lily rode home in the car. Lily was asleep on his shoulder, exhausted from the excitement. Marcus looked out the window at the city lights. 24 days ago, he was just a server. Unknown, invisible, struggling. Now he was a musician again. He had helped create a scholarship fund. He had told his story to the world. His phone buzzed. A text from Helena. I have been contacted by 3 concert halls. They want you to perform, and a music school wants you to teach. Your life is about to change even more. Are you ready? Marcus looked at his sleeping daughter. The morning after the concert, Marcus woke up to his phone ringing. It had been ringing all night. He had turned off the sound around midnight just to get some sleep. Now, looking at the screen, he had over 100 missed calls. Voicemails, text messages, emails. The concert had been live-streamed. Over 10 million people had watched it online. And that number was still growing as people shared the recording. Marcus made coffee and sat at the kitchen table. He started going through the messages. Concert halls wanted him to perform. Music schools wanted him to teach. Magazines wanted interviews. Television shows wanted him as a guest. One message stood out. It was from the director of a veterans hospital. Mr. Chen, your performance moved me deeply. I run a program for veterans with PTSD. We use music therapy as treatment. Would you consider working with us? Many of our patients are musicians who stopped playing after their service. You could help them find their way back. Marcus read the message 3 times. Music therapy for veterans. Helping others like himself. That was something he could do. Something that mattered. He called Helena. Good morning, superstar, she answered. Have you seen the numbers? Helena, I got a message about music therapy. Working with veterans. I saw that message too. I think it is perfect for you. But what about the concert offers? The teaching positions? Marcus, you do not have to do everything. Choose what feels right, what fits your life with Lily. Marcus thought about it. The music therapy program. That feels right. Then that is what you should do. Over the next week, Marcus met with the hospital director. Her name was Dr. Sarah Kim. No relation to his first piano teacher, but Marcus took it as a good sign anyway. Dr. Kim showed him the facility. It was a clean, bright building with practice rooms and therapy spaces. We have about 50 veterans in our program, Dr. Kim explained. Many have severe PTSD, depression, anxiety. Traditional therapy helps, but music reaches places words cannot. She showed him a practice room where a young man sat staring at a guitar. That is Kevin. He was a Marine, played guitar since he was 10. Has not touched it since he came home 2 years ago. Marcus watched Kevin through the window. He saw himself in that empty stare. How can I help? Marcus asked. Be honest with them. Tell your story. Show them that it is possible to come back. Marcus started working at the hospital 3 days a week. The other days he kept his server job. He needed the steady income still, and he did not want to forget where he came from. The first day was hard. Marcus met with a group of 10 veterans. All different ages. Different branches of service. Different wars, but all carrying the same weight. My name is Marcus Chen, he began. I was an army medic in Afghanistan. I got hurt in an explosion. Lost the use of my hands for music. Or so I thought. He told them his story, everything, the injury, the struggle, giving up music, the restaurant, the cruel challenge, finding his way back. I am not special, Marcus said. I am just like you, broken, scared, trying to survive. One veteran, an older man named Robert, spoke up. But you made it. You are playing again. How? Marcus showed them his hands. How they shook. How the scars were still visible. I am not healed. My hands still hurt. They still shake. But I play anyway, because the music matters more than the pain. He sat at the piano in the therapy room. This is the piece I played at the concert. It is called Letters to Lily. It is for my daughter. Marcus played. In this small room with these broken warriors, he played his heart out. When he finished, several of them were crying. Kevin, the Marine with the guitar, stood up and left the room. Marcus thought he had done something wrong, but 5 minutes later, Kevin came back. He was carrying his guitar. Can you help me? Kevin asked quietly. I want to try. That night, Marcus came home exhausted but happy. Lily was doing homework at the kitchen table. How was work, Daddy? Different. Good, different. I think I helped someone today. That is what you are good at, helping people. Marcus smiled. When did you become the wise one in this family? Over the next few weeks, Marcus settled into a new routine. Server 3 days a week. Music therapy 3 days a week. One day with just Lily. The media attention started to fade. The reporters stopped calling. The phone stopped ringing constantly. Life became normal again. But a different kind of normal. Better. Marcus continued working with the veterans at the hospital. Slowly, they started opening up. Started playing again. Kevin relearned the guitar. At first, his hand shook so badly he could barely hold it, but Marcus understood. Shake through it, Marcus told him. Your hands remember. Give them time. A woman named Jennifer started singing again. She had a beautiful voice that she had hidden for 3 years. Robert picked up the saxophone he had abandoned. The first notes were rough and uncertain, but they were notes, music, life. Dr. Kim was amazed. You are doing what months of therapy could not do. You are giving them hope. I am just showing them what someone showed me, Marcus said. One afternoon, Marcus got an unexpected visitor at the hospital. He was in a practice room with Kevin when Dr. Kim knocked on the door. Marcus, someone is here to see you. Standing in the hallway was Richard Vandermeer. Marcus had not seen him since that night at the restaurant. Richard looked different, thinner, older. The arrogance was gone from his face. Mr. Chen, Richard said quietly, I know I am probably the last person you want to see. Marcus did not know what to say. I wanted to come in person. To apologize, really apologize. Not through lawyers or press releases. You already apologized. On television. That was for everyone else. This is for you. Richard took a breath. What I did to you was cruel. I was showing off. Being powerful. Making myself feel important by making you feel small. He looked down at his hands. I have spent the last month in therapy, trying to figure out why I am the way I am. Why I hurt people. And what did you learn? Marcus asked. That I am empty. I built a whole life around money and power. But I never built anything real. Anything that matters. Richard looked up. His eyes were wet. You have something I never had. Something real. Your daughter. Your music. Your purpose. You are rich in ways I never will be. Marcus felt his anger toward Richard fading. This broken man in front of him was not the arrogant bully from the restaurant. This was someone who had lost everything and was trying to understand why. What are you going to do now? Marcus asked. I do not know. Start over, I guess. Try to be better. Richard paused. I saw your concert. The live stream. It was the most beautiful thing I have ever experienced. Thank you. I also saw what you are doing here. With the veterans, the music therapy. Richard pulled out an envelope. I want to help. If you will let me. He handed Marcus the envelope. Inside was a check. For $500,000. Richard, this is too much. It is not enough. It will never be enough to make up for what I did. But it is a start. Use it for the program. Help more veterans. Marcus looked at the check. Then at Richard. Okay, I will use it. Thank you. Richard nodded. He turned to leave, then stopped. Mr. Chen. Marcus, you could have destroyed me. You could have made this worse. But you did not. You showed me grace I did not deserve. Thank you. After Richard left, Marcus sat in the practice room for a long time. He thought about grace. About forgiveness. About second chances. Maybe everyone deserved a second chance. Even people who had been cruel. That weekend, Marcus took Lily to the park. It was a beautiful autumn day. The leaves were changing colors. Golden red and orange, they sat on a bench eating ice cream. Daddy, are you happy now? Lily asked. Marcus thought about the question. Was he happy? A month ago, he was struggling. Working long hours. Barely making ends meet. Hidden and invisible, now he had purpose. He was helping people. Making a difference. And his music was back. Yes, princess. I am happy. Good. You deserve to be happy. Marcus hugged his daughter. I have you. That makes me the happiest person in the world. The scholarship fund continued to grow. With Richard's donation and the ongoing fundraising, it reached $3 million. Helena set up a foundation to manage it. They named it the David Martinez Memorial Scholarship Fund. In honor of Marcus's friend, the first scholarships were awarded that December. 50 children of veterans received money for school, for music lessons, for opportunities. David Jr. was one of the recipients. He was studying music education, planning to teach kids in underserved communities. At the award ceremony, Rosa Martinez hugged Marcus. My David would have loved this. Loved that his name is helping kids. Thank you for remembering him. I will never forget him, Marcus said. He was my brother. At the hospital, the music therapy program expanded. Dr. Kim hired 2 more therapists. They could now serve 100 veterans. Kevin, the Marine, was playing guitar again regularly. He even performed at a small veterans event. Jennifer, the singer, joined a choir. She said music saved her life. Robert started teaching saxophone to kids in his neighborhood. They were healing. All of them. Through music. Through sharing. Through understanding they were not alone. Marcus realized that his performance at the restaurant had done more than just go viral. It had started a movement. Veterans across the country were talking about their struggles, asking for help. Finding community music therapy programs were starting at hospitals everywhere. People were paying attention to veteran mental health. One person playing piano had changed the conversation. Spring came. Marcus had been working at the hospital for 6 months now. The program was thriving. He still worked at the restaurant too, but Mr. Peterson had given him fewer hours. And better shifts. "You have more important work to do," Mr. Peterson said. "But I hope you will never leave us completely. You are part of our family." Marcus appreciated that. The restaurant kept him grounded. Reminded him of where he had been. One evening after his shift, Marcus played the piano at the restaurant. Mr. Peterson had asked him to play for guests sometimes. Not every night. Just occasionally. People loved it. Reservations increased on nights when Marcus played. But Marcus did not do it for the restaurant's benefit. He did it because he loved playing. Because it filled his soul. That night as he played, he looked around the restaurant. Some of these tables had been there the night Richard challenged him. The night everything changed. He felt grateful, not for Richard's cruelty, but for the opportunity it created. The door it opened. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Helena called him the next day. "I have news. A publisher wants you to write a book. About your story, your journey." "A book?" "Helena, I am not a writer. They will give you a ghostwriter, someone to help, but it would be your story. Your words, your truth." Marcus thought about it. A book could reach even more people, could help even more veterans. "Okay, let us do it." The book project started that summer. Marcus spent hours being interviewed, telling his story in detail. The writer captured it all. The book would be called Letters to Lily, A Veteran's Journey Back to Music. It would include his story, his music, and resources for veterans struggling with mental health. All proceeds would go to the scholarship fund. While working on the book, Marcus continued his regular life. Hospital 3 days, restaurant 3 days, 1 day with Lily. That 1 day with Lily was sacred. No work, no interviews, no obligations. Just father and daughter. They would go to parks, museums, the zoo, or just stay home and watch movies. "These are my favorite days," Lily told him. "Just us." "Mine too, Princess." Lily was growing up. She was 9 now, smart and kind. She wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. "Like you, Daddy, I want to help people learn." Marcus could not have been more proud. One day in August, Marcus got a call from Dr. Kim. "Marcus, I have a proposal for you. How would you feel about running the music therapy program, full-time, as the director? But I am not a trained therapist. You are better than trained. You are authentic. You understand these veterans because you are one of them. We can get you certified, training, everything you need." Marcus thought about giving up the restaurant job. It was scary. The hospital position would pay better, have benefits, but it was still a change. "Can I think about it?" "Of course. Take your time." That night, Marcus talked to Lily about it. "What do you think, Princess? Should Daddy take the new job? Will you be happy?" "I think so. I love working with the veterans." "Then do it. You should do what makes you happy." It was that simple for a 9-year-old. Do what makes you happy. Marcus accepted the position. He gave notice at the restaurant. His last shift was emotional. The staff threw him a party. Mr. Peterson gave a speech. Marcus came to us as just a server, but he was always more than that. He is a musician, a healer, a hero. We are proud to have known him. Marcus thanked everyone. "This job kept me alive during my hardest time. I will never forget that." As director of the music therapy program, Marcus expanded it even more. They now served 200 veterans. They added art therapy, dance therapy, writing therapy, all creative therapies that helped veterans express what words could not. The program became nationally recognized. Other hospitals copied their model. Marcus traveled sometimes to speak at conferences, to train other therapists, to share what he had learned. But he always came home, to Lily, to his small apartment, to his life. The book was published that December. 1 year after the concert, Letters to Lily became a bestseller immediately. People connected with Marcus's story, his honesty, his vulnerability. He did a book tour, readings at bookstores, interviews on television and radio. At every event, veterans came up to him, telling him how the book helped them, how it made them feel less alone. "You told my story," they said. "Thank you for telling my story." The book raised another $2 million for the scholarship fund. The foundation was now giving out over 100 scholarships a year, changing hundreds of lives. One afternoon, Marcus visited David Martinez's grave. He had not been there in years. Too painful, but now he felt ready. He stood in front of the headstone. Read the inscription. David's name. His dates. Beloved son, husband, father, friend. "Hey, brother," Marcus said quietly. "I am sorry it has been so long." He told David everything. About the concert, the hospital, the book, the scholarship fund bearing his name. "Your son is doing great. David Jr. He is going to be a music teacher. You would be so proud." Marcus felt tears on his face. "I miss you every day. I wish you had made it home. I wish you could see what we built in your name." The wind rustled through the trees. Marcus felt a strange sense of peace. "I am okay now, David, finally okay." "Took me long enough, right?" He placed a small American flag by the headstone and walked away. That Christmas, Marcus and Lily spent the holiday with Rosa Martinez and David Jr. They had become like family. They cooked together, opened presents, told stories. Rosa gave Marcus a gift. Inside was David's old dog tags. "He would want you to have these," Rosa said. "You kept his memory alive. You honored him with the scholarship fund. These belong with you." Marcus could not speak. He just held the dog tags and cried. That night, after Lily went to bed, Marcus sat at their kitchen table. He looked at David's dog tags, at his own tattoo, at his scarred, shaking hands. He thought about the journey, from that terrible night in Afghanistan to this moment. All the pain, all the struggle, all the loss, but also all the love, all the growth, all the purpose he had found. He thought about Richard Vandermeer, who had meant to humiliate him but instead had freed him. He thought about Helena Rothstein, who had seen his potential and refused to let him hide. He thought about all the veterans he had helped, all the children who got scholarships, all the lives touched by his story. One moment, one piano, one performance, and everything changed. Marcus pulled out his notebook. He had an idea for a new composition. This one would be called Coming Home. It would be about the journey. Not just his journey, every veteran's journey. The struggle to find peace after war, the battle to reclaim your life. He started writing the music. Notes flowed onto the page. His hands shook as he wrote. They always would. The damage was permanent, but that was okay. The shaking reminded him of where he had been, what he had survived, and it did not stop the music. Nothing could stop the music anymore. At midnight, Marcus checked on Lily one last time. She was sleeping peacefully, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. He kissed her forehead. "I love you more than all the music in the world." "Love you more than all the stars," Lily mumbled in her sleep. Marcus smiled. She even said it in her dreams. He went to bed feeling grateful. For his daughter. For his music. For his purpose. For his life. The journey had been hard, brutal sometimes, but it had led him here, to this moment, to this peace. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, more veterans to help, more music to write, more lives to touch. But tonight, Marcus Chen was exactly where he needed to be. Home, whole, healed, and finally, after so many years, truly happy. The end.